AGT for the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. I'm here with the boss man, Mr. Don Robbie. Give me some elbow. How are you, sir?
Yeah, still recovering after that defeat to Tottenham, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As an Arsenal fan, you know, the game you want to win. You know, especially in a season where you're not going to, it doesn't really mean nothing because there's not much to talk about, is that game against Tottenham. And the upsetting thing for me about it is that we blew it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had the game. You know what I mean? We dominated the second half. We went 1-0 up, then gave away a very stupid goal. Then we're dominating the game, missed opportunities, and then I personally think Tottenham, it was like a smash and grab.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had chances after that, you know, because people will look at the stats and it will say, oh, they had just as many shots. But if you look at that, most of that happened after they got that second goal, and then obviously we've just thrown everything to, you know, just gone gun-ho to try and get a goal back. But up until then, we were controlling the game, you know, and yeah, it was just, we can't defend, man.
Do you know what?
Can we borrow Van Dijk?
No, you can't. You've lost 24 points from positions where you've been winning this season. It's
which
the
shows
most
you
in the league.
Yeah, and that tells you everything you need to know, that we've got a good attack, right? Because we've been in winning positions many times, but we can't hold on to it because we can't defend. And I just think to ourselves, what must our players, our attacking players like Lacazette yesterday, Aubameyang, Pepe, when those guys have to work so hard to score a goal? You saw the banger that Lacazette scored, and then
it's disgusting.
But then other teams, they don't, you know, they're just gift wrapped all the time from us. You know what I mean? It's just not good enough. We need a lot of changes. We're in a position where Liverpool were
2015
when Klopp came in. We are in that exact same position, in that there's a lot of players in this team. Ozil is still here. He's not even played one game since we've come back, and he's one of the highest earning football players in this country. You know,
in the world.
In the world. And he's not even playing. And we're in a right mess at the moment. For us, it's just about kind of getting beyond this season now and trying to... I like Arteta. I like what he's trying to do. You saw the style of football. You know, what you saw against... People might say, oh, masterclass by Mourinho. But
no.
For me, it was like Mourinho dinosaur play, you know, 2 banks of 4, win the ball, lump it up front. Is, you know, you saw Arteta's team trying to play, but he just don't have the personnel to do it properly. And if he can get that personnel, I'd like to see what he can do.
With that midfield, obviously, we know that the offensive side is great. We've seen that with Liverpool. You were talking about the similarities. The midfield is decent.
Danny Ceballos has really stepped up.
He has. And would you want him to stay now? Because
with what I've seen of him over the past few games recently, and at the start of the season before he got injured, I would take him for another year. I wouldn't mind. But if he does go, we've got to bring in someone of similar calibre. I do like him. He's a very skillful player. And I reckon he'd be even better if he was playing further forward. If we were able to play, say, a 4-3-3, them sort of combinations, which I reckon Arteta would like to play, but is forced to play this 3 at the back with 2 wing-backs because he knows we can't defend. So
that formation of a 5 at the back has been obviously used by the likes of Chelsea, who won the league with it. City have played that way. We've even played that way. I just don't think Arsenal have the quality as those back 3 to hold down. I mean, listen, you lot should have won yesterday. I felt sorry for you. Laka scores an unreal goal that should be enough to win any derby. But then it's 2 individual mistakes. It's Kolasinac making the back pass, which Luiz is never going to recover from, and it's Tierney marking Alderweireld. If you just cut out those simple mistakes, you'd win that game.
That's what,
with a team
as
like
I said,
Arsenal,
it's a similar position to what you guys are in. You fixed it. You went out and bought Van Dijk, right? And, you know, brought through some great young defenders. Then also, you realised that you had another problem, and your problem was in goal.
Big problem.
Right? And
many problems.
Yeah, you didn't have any sentiments to carry us. He'd had his chance. He'd had a final. He messed it up. You got rid of him. The same thing needs to happen here. There's players here in defence that they've had their chance. It's not like, it's not a knee-jerk reaction where we're like, get rid of Kolasinac. He's been here for 3 years. He hasn't done nothing. In that time, he's had the odd decent game. He ain't done anything. Same with Mustafi. You know, same with, you know, a lot of these defenders. They've had a chance. We're not being harsh here and saying, oh, get out.
But listen, Robbie, that's
you've had
what
your chance.
the mediocre teams separate from the great teams. They just, when would Ferguson ever ponder on a decision? He got rid of Beckham. He got rid of Keane.
I know the whole coronavirus thing now makes it harder because, you know, it's harder to get rid of players. It's harder to buy players and stuff like that. But there's certain players here. The Mesut Ozil situation as well at Arsenal. For me, I personally just pay him off. Take the hit and because
about Ozil as a neutral. If I was an Arsenal fan, the first thing on my to-do list would be get rid of Mesut Ozil. He's dragging the tradition of the club down with and the money. We won't even go into that. Liverpool come in here on the back of 2 draws and a win 3 years ago. Mixed results. The last time you beat us was 2015 in any competition. What is your prediction for when Liverpool come here tomorrow? There's thoughts of, do Arsenal rest great players to feel better for Saturday, or is it Sunday you're playing City?
Saturday. It's going to be interesting because we're still in the FA Cup. We're in the semi-final. You know, despite it being a terrible season with 3 different managers and we're sitting in 9th place. If we beat City, and I know everybody's laughing when I say that, but the last time we won the FA Cup, we beat City in the semi-final and Chelsea in the final. We could, you know, and I remember at that time nobody gave us a prayer then. So it's a semi-final. You know what it's like. Weird things can happen. So do we rest up players with the hope of winning that and getting into a final? You know.
Another trophy.
Arteta's won the FA Cup with Arsenal, you know. Or, you know, do we still say to ourselves, no, let's put a strong team out against Liverpool? Because, and I'm thinking, at first I was thinking rest loads of players. But the more I think about it, and it's not just the fact that if we beat you or drew with you, it would mess up your chance of getting 100 points, which would be great.
101 points.
101 points, sorry.
Yeah.
But also, but more importantly, I think, than that, for Arsenal is you don't even want to be going to a City game by getting 2 defeats in a row. One, already, you know, even though we played, I thought for spells in that game, we played well against Tottenham. But one does, obviously, that hurts because it's you. And then you don't want to then come, play a weakened team, get slapped up by Liverpool. That wouldn't be a good way to go into that City game. So I think he may rest a couple, but I still see quite a strong team playing in that game. The interesting thing is maybe, you know, if he did rest an Aubameyang or somebody like that, maybe playing a Pepe down the middle might be an option. But then I also look at it because there's no Keita because he's injured. But then I also look at it and say to myself, yeah, but Aubameyang as well, he's going for that golden boot.
You have to play Aubameyang.
So leave him in there. So I personally think it'd be a strong team. And I don't think it'll be an easy game for Liverpool. I mean, we have been playing some decent football recently. You know, leading up to that Spurs game, remember we drew here with Leicester in a game again that we should have won if we'd have taken our chances in the first half. We beat Wolves away, we beat Sheffield United away, you know what I mean? So we have been playing, Arsenal's an unpredictable team, man. If they come out and they're concentrated in a game, they could have a decent game and you know. So I think a fairly strong team. You don't want to be going into that City game off the back of back-to-back defeats.
One thing I have to say when Liverpool play Arsenal is there's always goals. You look at the League Cup this season, 5-5. We played you at Anfield, 3-1. No matter what you want to say about Liverpool, we are leaking goals right now. And it's not nice to see. I mean, I think the City game was an anomaly, right? We lost 4-0.
Yeah, I think with Liverpool, you know, you've won it already. This is why, right? And I'm sure I've had this argument with you before, or I've had it with other Liverpool fans. And I know you don't like when I talk about the invincible stuff, right? But people have a go at Arsenal, right, about the invincibles and say, oh, you drew a lot of games and stuff. And I always stress how difficult it is to go the whole season unbeaten, right? Now, when Arsenal went the whole season unbeaten, it was a similar thing. They didn't win it quite as early as Liverpool, but they won it early. They won the league. League's done. Now, I'm sorry, for any professional footballer, you've been striving to that all season and then you've done it.
You're going to let the shoulders drop.
You go,
Yeah,
and even losing 5% of that intensity makes you a bit vulnerable to freak results. And that's why our achievement was so good, because we still managed to hang on and go the season unbeaten. I think with Liverpool, what we're seeing is they've lost a bit of the intensity. They might be up for this game because it's a big game against Arsenal, but the game the other day against Burnley, And then also it being the other thing I think that has affected Liverpool, all these games behind closed doors. So
That's
you
what I
can't
was
even
gonna
revel
say.
in the fact
No.
that,
That's
you know, we're the
affected-
champions, you know, all your fans singing, stand up for the champions and stuff like that. You haven't even got that. You haven't to then, after doing all that work,
Yeah.
play behind, as Troop said, what did you say? You call it the coronavirus Premier League?
I mean, they can give us an asterisk.
The Corona
they can give
League.
us what they want. But Robbie, you know deep down that we've deserved this title.
No,
and
you've
one has
been
come
you've been
near us.
outstanding. You've been outstanding. Liverpool deserved it. So I'm glad that I was always glad that it started back, that you could win it properly. And we had conversations about this before. I didn't want it handed. I thought that would have been inappropriate.
I wouldn't
but
have wanted that.
they've won it fair and square. You know, they've won it easily.
Yeah.
Easily, right? I think the rest of you know, well, not even the league, the rest of the top teams should hang their heads in shame as well, because we've not put up a fight. City ain't put up a fight, nor have United, even though they're running up their mouth now. Too little, too late. We didn't put up a fight. Chelsea, Leicester, Wolves. We haven't really put up a fight for the league. It was light work for Liverpool. So I think it'll be harder next year, but Liverpool deserved it, 100%.
I'm going to ask you a tough question here to finish us off. As we know, I said earlier that Klopp was given time, but you should only give a man time if he's the right man. In one word, yes or no, is Arteta the right man to lead Arsenal back to the top?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do
Confident,
believe.
you said.
I do believe in Mikel Arteta. He's a young manager. Obviously he's unproven. He hasn't done nothing yet. But the signs, the way he's come in, he's dealt with the Ozil situation. No nonsense. Guendouzi, no nonsense.
Guendouzi.
The way he's been getting, despite the terrible defending, and that's the problem that he's got, right? But he's getting the best out of these players. You know what I mean? They did go to Wolves the other day and keep a clean sheet. They did beat Sheffield United. Yeah, so he's getting the best out of a lot of average players.
But is he going to get the time? Is the patience still there?
I more look on it and say, are the board of this club going to back him? They need to give him the personnel for him to be able to challenge again. Are they going to do that? That is the more pressing thing for me, rather than if he gets... Listen, no manager gets time if the results don't go well.
No, exactly.
Simple as that. No manager. But I think there's a lot of scrutiny on our board as well, because a lot of people like Arteta. A lot of fans are liking what they've seen. Yeah, he's substitutions and things like that, but he'll learn. But these guys, they've got to back him.
And a quick score prediction for tomorrow. What are we reckoning?
2-2.
2-2. Desmond Tutu.
Draw.
I'm going for a convincing Liverpool away win. I do think that if we score one, I do think the floodgates might open. And Firmino loves a goal against Arsenal.
Defence has been a bit leaky, you said?
Mane loves a goal against Arsenal, and so does Salah.
Defence has been a bit leaky.
It has been a bit leaky, which will give you chances. But as we all know, if Arsenal go one up, the chances are we're going to win that game, because they've thrown away the most points from winning positions.
Hold away, but here, though, we've got a decent record against you here.
No wins against us for 5 years here, though.
A draw, you don't get the 100 points, do you?
Yeah, well, listen, you're holding out for the draw.
Yeah, we'll get those done. 99 points ain't the same as 100.
Well, listen, we're still going to try and get the 101 points. Like and comment this video, and also share it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Kop TV. I'm here with the big man, Robbie, and he's said that it's going to be 2-2 tomorrow. We'll see. And I'm very interested to see how Arteta performs at Arsenal, should he get given the time. But I have to say, from one big club fan to another, this is a great stadium, and you do deserve all the best. And that's not just me sitting here because I'm with you. I genuinely do believe Arsenal are going to get back up there. But yeah.
All right, it's cool. I'll call off the crew.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, don't come over anymore, boys. Nice one, Robbie. Thank you, bro.
Nice one, man.